say hello to the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G16. So this right here is kind of like the Cadillac of gaming laptops. It's not the Lamborghini. You're not paying $4,000 for it, but this one's premium. It's sleek. Honestly, it's probably more like a Ferrari because this sucker is sleek and it has tons of power, and it's a really good laptop. But it's not one of those ones that's going to break the bank because it's not the top end, but also it's not going to break your shoulder, your backpack, because it just weighs over 4 pounds, which is something that's really refreshing whenever it comes to these high-level gaming laptops. And this is like a one-year kind of follow-up review on it. The new ones are coming out. I want to readdress this one because it's still an incredibly good laptop, and maybe you can get a good deal on it, and I want to follow up on it. But before we get into that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now, let's talk about the G16. As the name would imply, the G16 has a reference. It has to do with the screen, which is 16 inches, and it's a OLED display, which is super nice. 240 hertz, 0.3 millisecond response time, Quad HD plus graphics. You can do some incredibly fun gaming on this laptop. It's not a touchscreen, but as you can see right here, it has very minimal borders. It has a nice layout for the keyboard. And what's nice and refreshing with this model, the speakers are actually pretty good in it, and it has better battery life. This is actually a refresh. So they originally came out with the Intel model, and then they brought out this guy right here later on in the year with the AMD chip, and it's basically about 10% better across the board in pretty much anything gaming related, and it's better on battery life, which is nice. And especially if you're not gaming, you can get some pretty nice battery life on this. And this is, I call this a gentleman's gaming laptop because, as you can see, I mean, it looks super profesh, right? It looks super nice. It looks sleek. It's not big and bulky, not massive LEDs everywhere. You don't look like you're showing up to an esports convention, but you can do serious gaming with the 4070 in here. It's got an RTX 4070, and it just looks nice, and it's sleek, and it looks more like a MacBook Pro. And as somebody who owns a MacBook Pro, I can attest to that. It looks a lot like the MacBook Pro 16-inch, and they also have the G14, which is basically the same thing, but a 14-inch. So if you like the smaller screen, but like more power and the thin profile, that might be an option too. And this one, I really like it. So this one's powered by the AMD Ryzen Strix Point AI9 HX370. Yes, lots and lots of numbers and letters. But what that means is you're getting one of the latest and greatest chips. It's got a lot of power, 32 gigabytes of RAM in this model. It's soldered onto the board. You can't change it. So if you buy a 16 gig or whatever, like, you're stuck with what you get. And I guess they're taking their cues from Apple because Apple does that with all their stuff. But yes, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte storage, M2 drive, and it's got an available extra slot. So it has 2 slots total, but this one has got the 1 terabyte M2 in there already. You can throw an additional one in there. The keyboard on this is a joy to type on. It's probably my favorite keyboard from a gaming laptop I've typed on this last year, and out of any laptop. I really like the laptop keyboard on here. You got a big, expansive touchpad, which you can see nice, not super clicky. Like, listen to this. It's got a nice kind of dull click to it. It's not one of those ones where it's like, oh, clickety, clickety, clackety. None of that. So that's why, another reason I call this a gentleman's gaming laptop. If you're out and about, if you're doing work, if you're next to people and you're not gaming, yeah, it's not super loud, not super flashy, not super clicky, but it looks nice. It looks like a luxury car of a laptop. Here you can hear the keyboard as well. So this is the keyboard right there. Nice. This is the space bar. Space bar is always bigger, has a little more clicky sound to it. But anyway, I really enjoy this laptop. I've tested out basically all of ASUS's or ASUS lineup in gaming laptops this past year. The Scar 18, tested it, love it, expensive, right? It's a big 18-inch laptop, but it's like massively, incredibly powerful. Well, then you have the TUF 14. I tested that one out. This one, the Zephyrus. So, and also the Flow Z13, which has been revolutionary. I just dropped my review on that the other day. They've got a lot of great options to choose from at a lot of different price points, and this one falls squarely kind of in the middle. So this one, for this model, $22.99, which I think is pretty fair. MSRP, you should be able to get it cheaper. I've seen open box ones at like Best Buy, significantly reduced price points. You know, check your local retailers and things like that, because you still get the manufacturer's warranty if you buy open box, but you don't have to pay that extra price tag. It's like buying a new car, and as soon as you drive it off the lot, it depreciates. If somebody opens it and returns it, they already took that depreciation out for you. So that might be a good option if you can find one that way. But this one falls in the middle. 4070 is plenty. Plenty. I mean, you got the 16-inch screen, you got a 4070, 32 gigabytes of RAM. You're going to be flying high, playing anything you want. You're going to get excellent frames per second. If you max stuff out, of course, it'll lower it, but that's one of the beauties of computers. You can change all those settings. You got your DLSS, you've got your ray tracing, you got all those capabilities. You got the HDMI out. You can do 4K HDMI out, or you can do HDMI out over the Thunderbolt port, the display. And it's one of those things where this is great for on the go. It has better battery life than the Intel model. So, of course, when you're playing high-end games on the laptop, you're not going to get great battery life. I don't really talk about that much because plug it in. But if you're doing regular stuff, it gets surprisingly good battery, and it's something that should mostly last you throughout the day if you're just doing normal work stuff. And of course, you've got the Armory crate, which you've got the dedicated Armory crate button. You can go in there and you can change things and max stuff out, change the power profile, GPU profile, CPU profile, the Aura lighting, and it's nice because it's got the RGB lighting on the keyboard. But it's cool because you can change the patterns, you can change the glowing patterns and things like that, or you can even have it where it's white light instead of RGB, so it's not as distracting if you're maybe in more of a professional environment. And I like this one. I really like this laptop because it's like a one-size-fits-all approach. Like, it looks great, it's super powerful, and you've got the slash lighting on the back, which is kind of a neat thing they did. They changed up the lighting on the back, so you have this light bar with the slash lighting. But you can do all that stuff. You can do your high-end gaming. When you take it home, you can plug it into a monitor. Like this one, you're not really sacrificing a whole lot. Of course, you're always sacrificing a little bit because the more streamlined GPUs they put in laptops are not the full-size ones with the full power and the full wattage that you would get on a desktop version. But in the laptop version, especially playing Quad HD graphics, 4070, you're going to get a really good playing experience. I mean, if you want to max stuff out, of course, it'll lower the frames per second. But if you use most of the recommended profiles when the games start up and load, they run like a champ. You're going to get over 100 frames per second on most things that you're going to play easily, even Call of Duty. With the recommended settings, like whenever it fires up and it tests the machine, I was getting well over 100, 120, 130 frames per second with Warzone. This is great for Warzone. You can play Cyberpunk on here. It runs smooth. You can see the video gameplay footage that I've got here. I was able to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You can play pretty much whatever you want. And that's one of the benefits of having such a powerful processor. This Ryzen AI9HX370 has tons of power. And then you get DLSS 3, RTX ray tracing, all that stuff. You got the tri-fan cooling technology, all that stuff combined. I mean, you shoot 50 trillion operations per second on the chip, and then toss in 320 AI trillion operations per second combined with the GeForce RTX 4070. You can do AI, you can do video editing, like you can do video editing like a champ. This right here is like the best case scenario for whenever you pair them up and go, okay, should I get this or a MacBook Pro? And you go, okay, well, the MacBook Pro is great for video editing, but you're kind of limited in the gameplay department. This right here is not limited in the gameplay department. It's also got the 4070, plenty of VRAM in there. So you're going to be able to edit videos like a champ, whether you use Premiere, Adobe, DaVinci Resolve, any of that stuff. It's going to be something that works out well for you. And on top of that, you got the media card slot over here as well. So you can plug in an SD card and you're good to go. You can swap your stuff back and forth, whether it's files for videos or photos. And then one thing I really like is you've got a USB-A and a USB-C on both sides. So the right-hand side, you've got a USB-A, USB-C, and then you've also got the media card slot. Left-hand side, you've got the HDMI 2.1, you've got the USB-C, which of course is 40 gigabits per second, and then the 10 gigabits per second USB-A, and then a headphone jack. So I like the ambidextrousness of this laptop because you're not limited. You got to plug everything on one side, plug everything on the other side. You got a whole bunch of cables slathered around between the different sides of the laptop. That's one thing I really like about it. It's really nice. It has proprietary cable, which is plenty of power. It's something that you're going to be able to run this thing, and it's going to power everything for your gaming needs, for your work needs, for all that stuff. And the power brick is not too big. It's one of those things where it is fairly well sized. It's not a USB-C, but at the same point in time, for gaming laptops, like I've seen much worse in my lifetime. And it pairs well with this, especially because, like I said, the laptop it's like 4.3 pounds. It is super light, it is super powerful, And honestly, I think they did a really good job with the heat on this one too. Years ago, I was afraid to buy a Zephyrus. I'm sorry, ASUS. I got to say this. I was afraid to buy a Zephyrus because one, they would get really hot. And you can get a 4090 in this, but of course the issue you're going to have is heat mitigation. They even have a 4080 model. I have the 4090, and the older models, they used to have the heat where the fans, it would dissipate out. It would come out up here. I remember going to Best Buy and testing one out. I even bought one and returned it a few years ago. This metal taskbar area up here above where the function keys are would get so hot it would almost burn your fingers, and it would have a lot of thermal issues. So they've really gotten a lot better with the cooling, a lot better with the heat mitigation, and you've got the cooling fans. They push the air out the back over here, and it pushes out away, not up and towards your face or where your hands are at. And on top of that, it just does a good job. This is with the fans on max, so you can get a good idea kind of what kind of sound profile you're working with here. Even with this turned all the way up, and you can feel the heat, like the heated air comes out back here. But overall, I think that the fan profile really is not bad at all on this laptop. And even when I was playing stuff under load strenuously, playing Call of Duty, whatever, it doesn't get super hot, and the fans aren't super noisy, which is also really good. It's a very thoughtful gaming laptop. It's not loud, it doesn't push out tons of heat, it doesn't have tons of fan noise, but I think the 4070 is a good balance. Like, the 4090 is cool, but you're going to be limited on the upside because of the lack of full power capabilities like you would get with a desktop, and you see how thin this is. Like, it's such a thin laptop, so whenever you take that into consideration, the 4070 is almost kind of perfectly balanced because it doesn't have the same power requirements or heat generation you do with a 4080 or a 4090, but it's also a sweet spot because you get the Quad HD Plus, it's 2.5K resolution. The OLED display looks absolutely brilliant. Of course, it's got the webcam, 1080p, Windows Hello for your security stuff. I wish it had a fingerprint scanner. Sadly, it doesn't, but it is a gaming laptop at the end of the day. So overall, like a year later, this thing is insanely good. It's not even really a year because the AMD refresh came out later, but the Strix Point AMD 9 series they came out with is such a good chip, and it works so well in here. And yeah, across the board, you're going to get probably about 10%, 10 extra frames per second a lot of places whenever it comes to different gaming between the Intel. AMD did such a good job with this chip, and I think it's a great selection for here. 32 gigs of RAM, that's good for gaming, but also it's solid for content creation, video editing, and things like that. And then it's just a great gaming PC. And of course, like I said, the speakers on here are better too. Overall, I think this is one of the best, most balanced, powerful gaming laptops you can get out there on the market. It's not super expensive. You're not in the $3,000-$4,000 category, but you're squarely in about the $2,000 category, which is, I mean, it's competitive because you're going to pay that for a MacBook Pro anyway. But do you want a MacBook Pro, or you want a gaming computer that's basically the same as a MacBook Pro, but you can play some really nice games, right? And I love how sleek it is. I love how lightweight it is. It fits in a regular backpack. And that's one of the problems that I have with the Scar, which, oh my gosh, this sucker is amazing, but it won't fit in my backpack. It weighs like 7.5 pounds. And it's just insane, but it's insanely awesome, right? But they're insanely awesome for different reasons. This one, it's not cheap. It's not super expensive. It's like the Ferrari of gaming laptops. It's got like a nice power balance to it, and it looks great. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all that stuff, please, of course, go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. This is a good one. Like, this is a really good one, and I've really enjoyed it. Every time I fire it up, I'm like, wow, this thing is nice. And, you know, the slash lighting on the back is pretty neat, too. So it's not without it's a little bit of a cool gaming gimmick, but it's also very professional. Like, it's not something that really stands out too much where it's like, okay, that's like a nerdy gaming laptop. It's more about, oh, hey, what is that? What does that do? So that's all I got. I just really wanted to make this video. I thought it would be good now as you're looking at the new stuff that's coming out. The new ones, of course, you know, might be a little bit more expensive. Got to see how things go with the 5000 series GPUs and things like that. The 4000 series was really dialed in. They did such a good job between the balance of the CPUs and the 4000 series RTX in 2024. I think this one's going to hold up well for a long time. So that's all I got. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button, the little notification bell, all that jazz. I put out new videos every day, sometimes twice a day. And go to the comment section if you want to talk about things. We can hash it out there. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. And I'll see you guys next time.